Hello and welcome to another episode of GTalks, Greenwich's official podcast where we invite people to discuss everything here with us. Today we have a faculty member who has contributed a lot to the educational side of Pakistan and is an excellent author contributing much to the constitutional side. We have Dr. Naazir Mahmood, Dean Faculty of Liberal Arts. Hello, sir. How are you today?
My pleasure. I'm good. Thank you.
All right, let's take a deep dive into our episode today, sir. And we will be discussing how crucial the educational impact has been over the past few years over Pakistan. And I would like to, ask that how would you describe the current academic climate of Pakistan and what's working and what, maybe still needs to change about it?
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you very much. I think this is a very good initiative that you have taken. Greenwich University, my university, is doing much to improve academic climate in Pakistan. But when in your question you have asked about all over Pakistan,
Yes.
What is working and what is not, and what is the academic climate. Well, Pakistan is not a monolith, and the same applies to education sector also. So academic climate in Pakistan differs from university to university. So I would broadly divide the academic sector into two, private sector and the government sector. And naturally we have around 250 universities,
Yes.
and around half of them are government universities and another half private universities. So, and government universities have been working for long, for 5-6 decades since Pakistan came into being. So within government sector also, we have variation. We have very good universities where academic climate is very good. For example, Quaid-e-Azam University, Karachi University, Punjab University, they are slightly better in comparison with other government sector universities. And similarly, when we talk about academic climate among private universities, again we have categorization. We have universities, top grade universities, private universities like Aga Khan University. We have LUMS. So these are, and then there are semi-government universities like IBA, Institute of Business Administration, where I taught for 8 years. So their academic climate is much better and different from government universities and in comparison with other private universities also. Our university, of course, does not fall in the category of Aga Khan or LUMS, but I would rate our academic climate slightly lower than Aga Khan and LUMS. Maybe we would fall in the number 2 category. So academic climate depends on 3 major things, I think. Number 1, in a university, what is being taught, how it is being taught, and how it is being assessed. When we say what is being taught, that means curriculum. Now, curriculum needs regular revision. And we need to keep up to date in accordance with the requirements of 21st century. And now 21st century also, 25 years have passed in the 21st century. So regular curriculum revision is what is required. And at Greenwich also, we try our best to keep abreast of latest developments. Now this is the age of artificial intelligence, AI. So we cannot carry on using the same curriculum of the pre-AI era.
True.
Previously, we talked about pre-21st century era.
Yeah.
But 21st century has, as I said, 25 years have gone. The latest is AI. So in this AI age, most curriculums need major revision, keeping in mind developments in the artificial intelligence. This is number 1. Number 2, how it is being taught is teaching methodology, or what in educational parlance we call pedagogy. Now, pedagogy means learning and teaching practices.
Okay.
Learning and teaching, that is pedagogy. Now, learning and teaching practices also need to change. So, and that also depends on not only from university to university, but from department to department. So, the same old methodology cannot be applied now. Old lecture methods, for example, need to be replaced. Every class should have much more interactive element in it. And the more, and now it should be semi-structured. Previously the focus was on very structured kind of teaching and learning.
Yes.
That has not worked. That means you structure everything step by step. You do this for 5 minutes. And previously, we used to make lesson plans in which everything was outlined. It doesn't work in the classroom that way. So, modern education needs more flexibility in curriculum and in teaching, more interaction, integrating ICT, information and communication technology, integrating AI, artificial intelligence into it. Unless we do that, the climate will not improve. So this is about the methodology, how it is being taught. And finally, I will say how it is being assessed, which is exams. Now, previously we used to give assignments. Now, in the age of AI, it has become very, very difficult to judge whether an assignment which is being submitted is actually written by the student or not.
Yes.
And the more we try to use Turnitin and try to detect plagiarism, it is also not a foolproof mechanism as yet, because there are software which humanize. So previously, till last year, it was easy to give it to Turnitin, and they used, but now it has become more difficult. So the same assignments need to be looked at differently. How much independence we can allow students to use AI, that is a challenge. So there are multiple challenges that we are facing, and academic sector around the world, those challenges we are facing. So let's see how things improve. I think things will go for better. At Greenwich, we are striving to do as best as possible, and we are planning to be one of the top universities very soon by changing all these three. What is being taught, curriculum revision, how it is being taught, that is improvement in methodology, and finally how it is being assessed, that is improving our examination methods.
That is really some insight, and it's really true from how you've analytically assessed the climate generally, and how important it is for not just the university to create that atmosphere for students to grow academically. And as a student, I would agree that even sometimes I make use of AI, and it's so easy for us to get away with that because one cannot really detect plagiarism or how it's completely been used. Which leads me to my second question, as curious as I am, genuinely. Critical thinking skills is really important for students to cultivate. And with all of this happening, sir, how do you think, critical thinking skills come into role play? Because with AI and with the methodologies that are being currently used, it can be observed that critical thinking skills take a backseat in our academic, lifestyle. So how does one navigate through that?
Well, first of all, let's try to understand what critical thinking is. What do we mean? Because this is in fashion. This has become a buzzword.
Yes.
Buzzword means, which buzzes like everywhere.
Yeah.
So this has become a buzzword, just like AI has become a buzzword.
Absolutely.
So critical thinking is a buzzword, and even those who curb critical thinking talk about critical thinking.
Yeah.
This is very interesting. So, for example, if I don't allow my students to ask many questions, and then I talk about critical thinking. So, the word critical comes from crit, and criteria.
Right.
Crit, criteria, criterion. What is criterion? Plural criteria, from where critic comes. Criteria is standard.
Right.
A yardstick, a benchmark against which you measure or evaluate something. That is criterion, right? So, what is critical thinking? When you apply a set of criteria to any notion or concept, that means you challenge that. That is critical thinking.
Right.
And for that, you need academic freedom and flexibility. If things are too much structured, curriculum is too much structured, and everything comes from the top. And by top, I mean, let's say top university management or Higher Education Commission, Federal Higher Education Commission, or even Sindh Higher Education Commission. If the top management goes into too much details and becomes prescriptive about everything, This is the prescription and you should use it like medicine.
Yeah.
That doesn't work in education.
True.
So, in critical thinking, we should allow our academics, our learners to raise questions.
Right.
By raising question, I mean it's much easier to raise questions in physical sciences, right? But in Pakistan, in a country such as Pakistan, it has become much more difficult to raise questions about social sciences.
Right.
So, how our society is being run, for example, this is a critical question.
Absolutely.
And there is a lot of talk about no politics, don't indulge in politics. When students go to universities, their parents advise, keep away from politics.
Yeah.
Now, politics primarily is critical thinking. Let me give you a simple definition of politics. Politics is when you start asking questions about how my society is being run and why it is being run like this and who is benefiting from this. These are critical questions.
So true.
So, in order to encourage critical thinking, we need to be patient. The other day, I was delivering a talk about Allama Iqbal at the PACC, Pakistan American Cultural Center. And there I took a slightly different turn. And that was critical thinking.
Yeah.
Because everybody was, praising. If you keep praising without pointing out that there was something wrong in it also. So in Pakistan, unless academic freedom is there to raise question about the dominant narrative, which is being propagated in the country, overall in society, so critical thinking will not prosper. So critical thinking is about having your own standard, your own criterion, against which you judge or evaluate the ideas that are being presented to us,
Right.
to academics and to students. So that is the crux of critical thinking. And for that we need academic freedom.
Hence proven that critical thinking cultivates from both the sides, and it's allowing the students to be able to question, cross question and argue with themselves upon things such as you stated, which I think is really not highlighted, and it's almost like a taboo that people avoid
Questioning.
Yes.
Well, let me give you one interesting line which I read somewhere. It says that a good student tries to answer questions. A better student tries to question the answers.
Right.
So what we have ready-made answers, and we are not allowed to question those answers. So when we allow students, learners, academics to question the answers that are being given,
Yeah.
then critical thinking will prosper.
Perfect. I mean, that is that's the way it is, which I mean, again, I would just ask any further elaborating upon critical thinking and how current student bodies are generally in universities, that how do you think in today's time for the Gen Z students, teachers have become mentors for kids based on how critical thinking works with the AI involved? What is your perspective on, teachers mentoring their students in today's time?
Well, first of all, I have my reservation, not me, but in academic literature also, there is a lot of debate about this division of generations.
Yes.
And starting from a particular year. There's a silent generation, lost generation, alpha generation, generation Z, generation X, whatever.
Yeah.
They start at a particular year. For example, baby boomers
Yes.
generation, that ends in 1964. Right? Now, what about those people who were born in 1965? How can they be so different from... So this division and, marking a particular year that
Yeah.
this particular generation is starting, I think this concept doesn't make sense to me. It is a transition. It is a gradual transition. You belong to Generation Z?
Yes.
Which year it starts?
I'm not so sure, but I'm almost certain it
Okay,
starts
before
from
Generation Z,
2000s.
which generation was there? Before Generation?
I think it was millennial.
Millennial.
Yeah.
So now, if you stop end point, they actually give you the end year, 1997, for
Yes,
example. You
yes.
see, there's where you start. Then another year, and then another year. So if you give those years, that concept, that division is wrong. It is like that nonsense of horoscope. or astrology,
Yes.
in which you say, if you are born on the 21st of a month, you belong to that star, and if you are born after 2 days, you belong to a different star. So that doesn't make sense to me, because you can't divide people like this. So it consumes our enthusiasm. We like it, but that division of generation, I think, is wrong. This is number one. Number two, let's talk about young generation.
Yes.
Without specifying Generation Z or Generation Alpha or whatever, younger people, or those who are in the range of 20-25, let's say. Now, motivation has a lot to do with our attention span. What is happening to our younger people is that gradually, and this is none of their fault, this is the environment. Our young people are gradually losing their attention span. And by attention span, we mean that in our age, I am 61-year-old, in our age, we could read a 200, 300, 500 page book. We could watch a 3-hour movie, even 4-hour movie, if it is long, like Ben-Hur and all. But now, attention span is 30 seconds. You have reels on your mobile. How many minutes do you spend on a channel before flipping through it? Seconds, not even minutes. Previously it was hours, then it came down to minutes.
Yeah.
Now it has come down to seconds. If that happens, our mind is being trained, is being conditioned to get irritated or restless after a few seconds, if the reel does not change.
Yeah.
Or if you open Facebook or whatever, you have to scroll down. And that is training our mind. That is the negative aspect, of technology. Of course, there are positive aspects of social media, but the negative aspect is that we lose motivation by losing our attention span. So our people, whether younger or older, they need to work on expanding their attention span so that they can read a long format text. Which has become a challenge for younger people now.
Absolutely.
They read a couple of pages and they lose their interest. But unless we are able to read 50 pages in one sitting, so that we are able to complete a book in a week, that will not change. And gradually we lose our motivation. See? So things are connected. I think that our younger generation is more motivated towards quick satisfaction.
Instant dopamine rush.
Yes, instant thrill, adventure, which is, of course, the case for all teenagers everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere and in all generations. Even in my generation, I remember when I was between 13 to 19, that dopamine rush was there, and we had our own ideas. But there is a time when one decides that teenagers are over. Once you enter 20, but the problem with our younger people is that, if not all, there are exceptions who still read 500-page book, who still can watch a 3-hour movie. But most of our young people, because of their attention span, losing their attention span, what has happened, that they are unable to concentrate. And that's where the problem is. So these people should try to inculcate some patience in themselves. And if they are able to do this, I think things will improve.
I think you're absolutely right, because I would testify that once I open my social media, my Instagram, and I keep scrolling, and the way it works is that it becomes an endless cycle, and I cannot get out of it. And without realizing, it's been 3 hours of me just watching my those short format videos, reels, and I'm like, I just lost literally 3 hours of my day. So it's really important for us to make sure that our attention span is high, so that we're able to retain focus on things that we do and not run towards quick satisfaction fixes.
And teenage behavior should end at 19. The problem is that now we have 25-year, 30-year-old people still behaving like teenagers.
Okay.
Not all, but most.
Okay.
So that overdose of teenage should not carry on. Hangover, what I call it. Hangover is when you have an overdose of something at night. The next morning you will not feel well. You will carry that hangover. So what is happening now? Even when our teenagers are over, we are 20, 25, 30. The hangover of that teenage is still carrying on. And the earlier we get rid of that hangover, the better it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's why we see some 30-year-old people behaving like teenagers, even 40-year people behaving like this. Though one should keep one's child inside alive, but it should not dominate our lives.
Absolutely. Sir, you've been an excellent author and you've contributed a lot. Could you just carry on and tell us about your latest published book and how you fell into the idea of becoming an author and contributing via writing?
Well, luckily, by reading and writing habit, I bore, this was a legacy from my father. My latest book is about constitutional amendments in Pakistan. In fact, it was a series of articles that I wrote in 2023 when we were celebrating 50th anniversary of our constitution. And by that time, there were 25 amendments. So I wrote a series of 25 articles in the newspaper, in the news. And then one of my senior friends, Dr. Jafar Ahmed, who's director at a research institute, he advised me to compile that into a book form. So I compiled those articles because you can find the constitutional amendment text on the net, but the context is missing.
Right. In
what context that amendment was introduced. So I tried to give that context to each amendment. So this the latest book was published last month, and the title of the book is Constitutional Amendments in Pakistan. And by the time, when it was ready for print, 26th Amendment came last year. So Dr. Jafar advised me to add another chapter on 26th Amendment. Now the book has been published.
Yeah.
Now we have 27th Amendment. So I think that book will see many reprints. Every time we introduce new amendments, it will be revised. So that is my latest kind of, challenge, my contribution to writing.
That is once again really insightful. And we'll just move on to the rapid fire round just to, wrap up the episode, because I feel like, again, not giving you the division, but as a more younger person, the approach towards how you're explaining the idea of the narrative on the educational backgrounds in Pakistan, what needs to be done to improve the critical thinking skill of the students is to provide them with the freedom. It's really essential, and it opens my mind to the possibilities that we can have as students and the opportunities we can grasp once these things are put into effect. And it's just really engaging and motivating for me as a student. So thank you so much for being with us as I move on to the rapid fire round. So sir, if you could just tell me quickly one book that you think has changed educational sector.
Pedagogy of it has changed me or the educational sector?
The educational side.
Well, I can tell about myself. I cannot say there is a book called Pedagogy of the Oppressed by Paulo Freire. He was a Brazilian writer and educationist. He was the one who introduced this concept of teaching he opposed teaching as banking. He says that, in most teaching, teacher thinks that students are empty banks where you need to deposit something in the minds of the students. So that is called banking concept of teaching. And he says that unless the oppressed people, that means everyone, are brought at par with the privileged people. So he divides, between oppressed and privileged. He says that, our system, capitalist system, is designed in a way that most of the privileged students get the best education, and the oppressed people don't know where their next meal will come from.
True.
So if they don't know where their next meal will come from, how can they be bothered about education of their children? So in Pakistan, around 40% people live in poverty. Some say it is almost half. Our literacy rate is dismal. Hardly 60% people, government claims that hardly 60% people can read and write. Independent research says that not more than half of the people are literate. So that is a crisis. So these are the ideas I learned from Paulo Freire, Pedagogy of the Oppressed. So that is the answer. And that has changed me.
So any one piece of advice that you would want to offer the students in today's time?
Two things. One, as I said, that try to expand your attention span. Learn to read long format texts. Watch good movies. And sit through them.
Right.
If it is 3 hours or 2 hours, sit through it. And always look for good books, good movies, and good people in life. So if you have these three things around you, you will be a success. And one should also have one's own measure of success.
Right.
One's own criteria of success. So one should not measure everyone by the same level of success. See?
I think it differs from everyone.
It differs from for some people earning more money is success. For me it is not. For some people it is high intellect, which is a measure of success. So one should have one's own definition of success. My definition of success is that if you are intellectually sound, socially responsible citizen, then you are a success.
So now that you've spoken on having good company, good books and good movies, can you recommend either one good movie or one good book for students?
Well, for everyone, for students and teachers, there are some movies good on education also. For example, there was an old movie called To Serve with Love.
To Serve with Love.
Sir, S-I-R, sir.
Okay, To
Serve with Love. This is Sidney Poitier's movie of 1960s. It's a very good movie. It shows a classroom environment somewhere. The prime of Jean Brody. But these are old movies. But not talking about education sector, generally there have been some very good movies which I like. I like biopics. Biopics means, based on a biography of a famous person. For example, I like Amadeus. Amadeus is a movie about Mozart, the composer. Amadeus is a very good movie. In Indian movies, recently I watched Lapata Ladies. It's a very good movie, Lapata Ladies, and it has some meaning and message in it also. So I can go on. I write on movies. You can search my articles on movie reviews on Dawn. I write regularly. So you just type my name, Naazir, N-A-A-Z-I-R, and you can read my movie reviews also and book reviews also.
Sir, I think it was a very wholesome episode with you because, to be very honest, it's not just an eye-opener, but it helps us realize what we need to do in order to become the best self. And once again, thank you so much for being with us, taking the time out of your schedule and being a part of our podcast. And inshallah, this could be an insight to our students and to the students of other universities on how to retract their attention span and have their own standard of success. So thank you so much, Dr. Naazir.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. See you guys on another episode of GTalks. Take care.